We're going to talk a little bit about show strategy and how I go ahead and get my mind ready to go down the fence at different arenas and different places. Once I get to a show and I've warmed my horse up, I want to make sure I know what that arena looks like. I want to make sure that I know what side the judge is going to be standing on so that I can go down the opposite fence if possible. You need to check out your cattle, see what size they are, see how strong they look, see how weak they might be. Big, strong cattle are probably going to run pretty hard. Small, skinny, weak cattle will run out of air a little quicker. And I go ahead and look at all these things. I look at the arena, the configuration. If the arena is oval, I know I'm going to have to get a little bit farther away from my cattle and go ahead and step in front of them maybe a little sooner and a little farther than I would in an arena that is perfectly rectangular, because that cow doesn't see that wall coming, and all they see is a continuous wall, so that encourages the cow to keep running around that wall. So I need to be a little bit more aggressive and make my turn before it gets to that point. You need to be aware of your penalty markers. There are 1-point penalty markers at the end of the arena, and there's also 2-point penalty markers. At most shows, I use arena signs or markers to kind of get myself set in where I would like to turn. If there's some way that you can figure out, once I go by this sign, I want to go ahead and make my move and make sure I turn between this sign and the next sign, it will help you to stay out of the penalty box. The size of the arena determines on how close I want to be to my cow when I'm leaving the boxing end. For a very short arena, I need to be right with my cow, pretty much in that rib cage area, so I'm not behind by the time I get to that halfway point. I need to be right there. I need to be really on top of things. Big old long arena, I can go ahead and stay back a little bit farther, more toward that cow's hip, and go ahead and let that cow have a nice long run, and because I know I have a lot of time to catch up to that cow. You also need to know what your horse's speed is, because if you have a horse that is not quite so fast and doesn't have a really good kick at the end, you need to stay up there, give that horse all the advantage and not let that cow have a head start. One of the most important things to do at a show, if you're not up in the first class, is to watch the classes before you. The cattle will always run true, or most cattle will run true. Once they're in a set of cattle and all the cattle come out really wild and fast, most of the cattle will also be wild and fast. There will always be the exceptions to the rule, but you want to get a general idea of how the cattle are acting in each show arena. By watching the classes before you, you can decide if there are any scary spots for the cattle. If there's like one flag on the wall, the cattle will all come out, run about 20 feet, and then blow off of the wall at that scary spot. So you need to be prepared for that. Keep your horse a little bit wider so that when that cow comes out, that cow doesn't cross in front of your horse. And then you can go ahead and ease back up to that cow's shoulder and encourage it to go back to the fence. Some cattle just turn around and look at the gate where they came out of, and they don't want to be moved. So you need to step up and see if you can make that cow move. If that cow is totally ignoring you and won't really look at you, you're not doing much good at the boxing wall, so you need to get to the side and make it go down the fence. The boxing part of the fence work is to show control over that cow and to have your horse hold that cow on that short end of the wall. It's also used for the rider to decide what type of cow they have and for the horse to get comfortable working a cow. A lot of horses are real cow fresh. That cow comes out, your horse starts dancing around. The rider needs to get a little bit better control of that horse, make it pay attention to its business, get it into its stops a little harder, and start controlling your cow. Your object on that box, from a rider's point of view, is to get that cow to start to respect the horse and to see if your cow is going to respond to your horse's movements. If your cow is totally numb, that's probably what they're going to be down the fence, and you need to be a little bit more prepared for that, which means you probably need to drive by just a little farther so that when you turn, make your fence turn, that cow will run into basically your horse's shoulder and they'll have to turn. The length of time you want to box varies with each condition and each horse and each cow. If you know that your horse needs a little bit more time on that box, you can go ahead and take it. If your cow comes out, doesn't move, you're not making any points, just staying there, go ahead and go with it. If your cow comes out and it's wild, its head's up, its tail's over its back, you best stay down there just a little bit longer. But that's where it's really important to watch the classes before you, because a lot of cows come out, their heads up, their tails over their backs, they run for about 3 licks, and then you have no cow. That gets into penalty box there of exhausting your cow. So you need to watch your cattle and get a handle on whether you have enough cow left. I've seen people be a little bit timid about a cow that comes out and acts wild, so they box and they box and they box. They go down, make one turn, and they have no cow left. Whereas if they had cut their boxing time in half, they would have had a really nice run.